Wow, this is such an experience. Standing in this big red dot. Not being able to move, but being able to move insights and realities to my audience right now. Can I hear a round of applause? Oh, I love that. Okay. You know, before I went here, I was sipping a cup of coffee backstage. You know why? Because I need a little boost to present myself to you and to give you a valuable insights. Well, for sure, I'm not the only one who is drinking coffee to give you a little push all throughout the day. In fact, I made a research that according to Yaqub Muhammad's research, there is over 1 billion people worldwide daily consuming coffee. Are you part of that 1 billion? Ah, diba? Sabi ko na I am expecting this. Don't worry, don't feel guilty. I myself is also part of it. But here's another catch. That's more about 12.6 of the population of the world. And it is equivalent to 2.25 being sold and being consumed daily. Is it alarming? What do you think? Yes, I heard a yes, I heard a no. But don't worry, I'm not here on this stage to de-influence you to remove coffee in your daily life experience, because I guess it's impossible. I won't take no as an answer. Now, why is this important? Later on, you will find out. I'll give you one of the examples. Why is this research true and acceptable? Well, you know, I'm in a corporate world. I work in a corporate. And before I start my day, I would always go to my favorite coffee shop nearby, just across of our office building. And whenever I'm going to enter my favorite coffee shop, the barista would often mention to me, or often greet me into this word. Miss Ludes, wow, you're smiling. You're not looking that frowning moment of yours. May I know your mood of the day? Did you see something different, how the barista greets me? They asked me, what is your mood of the day? He or she didn't ask me, what's your take? What's your order? What's your cup of coffee? Because every day, I order depending on what I want, depending on my mood. Just for example, answering the barista question a while ago. Okay, Charlie, I'd like to order a 1 venti of iced matcha latte. That's my favorite drink. But I'd like to spice it up and add it with 1 pump of extreme patience, 2 pumps of energy booster, and 3 pumps of social battery. It's something very unusual. The usual coffee order we take, chai latte, iced latte. But in reality, we are ordering deeper than an iced latte. Sometimes, our coffee that we drink, it's more than just a cup of coffee. It is a blended and experience of multiple realities. We have the physical world, where we feel the warmth of coffee. Next, the digital world, where sometimes, or maybe not sometimes, where most of the time, whenever we grab that cup of coffee, we say thank you to barista and suddenly grab our phones, take a picture, and post it across the social media platforms. Are you doing it? Sharing like, hey, I got this drink, energy booster for the day. And lastly, we have the mental reality, where emotions and memories from the weekend getaways are triggered. Well, everyone, this is just your sips of reality. We often think that reality is a form of singular. But it's not. Just kidding. It is. There's the real world where we walk, interact, and talk. There's the digital space, the screens, data, and virtual spaces that we have. And lastly, the mental world, where our emotions, perceptions are intact. Now, some of you might be asking, why all of this are being mentioned by this lady standing in front of you? Because these realities are not to separate. They are interconnected. They are constantly evolving and constantly consuming each one another. And what better way to see this in motion than through something as universal as coffee? Now, some of you may think, out of all topics I can gain, out of all the topics that I can connect with interwoven reality, why? Why coffee? Because I know that it is something that we will have to connect in our everyday life. Right? Okay, I have a question before proceeding to the next point of agendas. Who in this room needs a coffee first thing in the morning to function, going to work, doing creating projects, or just simply going to the universities? Can you raise your hand if you're guilty? Okay, okay. I see a lot of hands. Okay. Because it's a need already. It's becoming a need. And actually, in a corporate world where I have and gain experience, I've noticed that despite the productiveness of the busy world in the corporate, there's something that binds them. It's coffee. Digital, mental, and physical, all is present just by sipping that first cup of coffee. Now, I'll show you, not show, but I'll mention to you and share to you one of the best experience I've had all throughout my stay in my company, in our company. Sorry, hindi ko kumpanya. I've been traveling, attending several local, international conferences. And one thing I noticed is that coffee break is always there. Sorry, correction. Coffee breaks. Not once, not twice, not thrice. Grabe ang kape. Diba? But 4 or more than coffee breaks, hindi naman siguro disclaimer lang. Hindi naman naabot sa 10 coffee breaks. Ano na lang ang talk, diba? Naaabangan during the conference. But one thing I noticed and realized, that having the several coffee breaks in the conference room, whenever I'm interacting with one, let's say, one professional, let's say as chief executive officer in that conference room, we are having a chit chat over a cup of coffee. And that cup of coffee heard different insights, different realizations, and a very nurtured exchange of conversation. Now, some of you may think, why suddenly I'm talking about coffee, na ang kape dati kailangan ko lang yan para naman mabuhayan ako sa pang-araw-araw ko. Tapos ngayon lalagyan pa ng responsibilidad ni Ludmilah. Pasensya na po. But I'm not going again to de-influence you, but I want you to be more motivated and to think about that one sip of coffee has something to say about your reality. Correct? Ayan. Correct? Okay. It's so fun to talk about something that I love, you know. Now, before I end my topic, my talk, I would want to reflect on this idea. I'd like you to reflect that you are in the instant of choosing to be present. That whenever you're exchanging conversation between coffee heard you. Coffee is your reality. Coffee is on the instant. Hindi po instant coffee, ha? Instant reality that brought both of you or yourself to a place where you want to continue to have a good day. And some of us would want a brewed coffee, strong, intense, no time to waste. And others lingers over a latte, smooth, sweet, comforting. And some are like me. My days and my brews that I want, it depends on the brews that I would want to sip. And before I end this talk, I would always ask a question, not to answer now, but something that you can take away. I would want to ask yourself that when you take the first sip of coffee tomorrow or maybe the next day, I'd like you to ask yourself, what does this cup say about my reality right now? Thank you, everyone.